All right, folks. My name's Mike, and guess why we're here is bear with me. This is my first attempt at YouTube, so we're just going to run through what I found, and that's kind of why everybody's here. So, what we got here is a little backstory first. I've been in this hobby for about 3 weeks now, so real fresh at it, right? I went to an estate sale, and what I started doing maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago was I was building Bluetooth speakers and stuff for like the party crowd, golf carts, your boats, something similar to what a turtle box is if you're familiar with that. But you can use drill batteries, DeWalt batteries, Milwaukee batteries, whatever to power them. So you don't have to worry about trying to plug them in. Most people have these kind of drill batteries already sitting around. So you can play your music forever and just swap batteries out quick and easy. And they're in a kind of a bulletproof case. I use waterproof speakers for marine applications and that kind of thing. But anyhow, what I got into was building these things, and then I had the idea of maybe I need to look into these old radios. I kept seeing them on Marketplace. So these old wooden RCA radios, Philcos, whatever. I didn't really care about the brands. Ended up at an estate sale which had 3 of these upright record players, the crank type record players. I believe it was a Columbia, Amarola, and a Brunswick. So I ended up picking up the Brunswick and kind of did a package deal with 3 of these radios and the Brunswick. Brought it home. The Brunswick was missing the crank, and so I had to fabricate that. Ended up making a new crank handle for it. And it was also missing, the spring. One of the springs was broke inside the motor. So I researched where I could find that stuff. Got a hold of George Volma. I believe he's the Victrola doctor. Maybe he goes by there online. He's out of Michigan. Anyway, he has a lot of the stuff in stock. The springs were brand new, actually. Ordered some needles and the springs and like I said, the crank arm and all that stuff. The crank arm ended up being in the wrong thread, so I had to grind it down and retap it and do a tap and die on that crank arm to get it to fit into the motor itself. But we got it all working out. Polished that back up. It was a little rusty, but made it look good. Anyhow, I got the Brunswick running, and I needed some records for it next. Now I didn't have anything to play. So did some research on it, and apparently you're supposed to play pre-30s records on them. Nothing that's been electronically recorded, that sort of thing. So I went on a search for some records and ended up at a thrift shop. This particular thrift shop was closing down, and I've been to like 3 or 4 of them trying to find stuff, and I can't find 78's anywhere. Went to a McKay's bookstore here in Chattanooga locally, and they didn't have anything there. A few pawn shops and that kind of thing, so I was striking out. But anyway, I went into this thrift store that was closing down, and it was anything you can fit in a bag for $5, plastic bag. And it wasn't like a strong, hefty cinch sack. It was a light dollar store trash bag. So the trick was anything you fit in the bag, but you had to be able to pick the bag up and hold it in the air without the bag breaking before they let you out the door. So I found a stack of 78s that was probably about a foot tall. You guys know how much that weighs. And I was like, man, this thing's going to break as soon as I try to pick it up. But I went scouring around, and I found one of those carpeted type covers for your toilet. You know, the little thing that goes over the toilet lid. And I put the records in that to kind of soften the base of it. Didn't have any sharp edges on the base. And I also found another radio there. It was a Bakelite Zenith radio, probably from like the 30s. I put that in the bag as well. And walked up there and gingerly picked it up and held it up. And the lady's like, all right, you got it. $5. So I was out the door, $5. I was pretty happy. So anyway, got home, started playing it, listening to it. It sounded really good. Enjoyed it. About 2 weeks goes by, and I'm out, looking around now. Now I kind of know what I'm looking for as far as records go. Not really hip on the rarity stuff, the titles that you're supposed to look for, all that kind of stuff. I'm just kind of learning as I go here, teaching myself what to find and what to look for. Anyway, end up at another pawn shop, thrift store kind of place, and in the back I see another stand-up record player there, and it ended up being a Sonora. It had the crank. The reproducer was busted. It was missing the needle portion of it that goes into the mica disc. So I've got that coming. I also ordered another one from a fella in Texas. So if you're on here, I appreciate you as well. But Mr. George hooked me up again with some parts for it. They should be here today for that, but I got that other reproducer as a whole unit, and I was able to get it going. But anyway, it was missing a key, and there's on the bottom of the cabinet is a double set of doors there, and there's a key for it, but it was missing the key, and apparently it's been missing for a while because you could tell people's been in there trying to dig at it, and the lock itself was just all locked up. I was actually able to 3D print a key and stick it in there, and I can get it to turn, but it wasn't strong enough to get the lock mechanism to release, and it kept snapping off the 3D printed keys. So that wasn't working out well for me, so I ended up getting an oscillating tool. I taped the doors down. It had a nice little gap there in between, and I was able to get to the hasp part of it, of the lock, and just zip right through it with the oscillating tool, and poof, doors opened up. I was hoping I'd find some treasure. Maybe somebody squirreled away some old Confederate money or something. Who knows? But there was a few 10-inch records in there. It had a whole bunch of folders in there in slots. There was a few 10-inch records in there, and then back behind it, there was a few that fell back behind it, and then also what appeared to be 45s. To me, 45s. Like I said, I'm new into the game. But they weren't 45s. They were 7-inch 78's. So the first one I found in there in the back was a Columbia disc record. It says Columbia Phonograph Company, New York and London. Grand Prize, Paris 1900. Invitation to the Waltz by Weber Band. Number 1171. Printed May 4th, 1886 and December 10th, 1901. So that's what you got right here. One of my finds in the bottom of the Sonora. And then the next one I found down there was two in the back, was a Zonophone record, 7-inch. National Gramophone Corp. All rights reserved. It's a vocal solo, The Sousa Girl by Mr. Joseph Natus, Natus. It has a stamp of J9426 on it. There's a number stamped 1 on the side, and then a number 5 is inscribed by hand, it looks like, above the title, the Zonophone portion of it there. So hopefully that's working out. I don't know if this is actually reversed or not, so work at it. So this may be reversed, hopefully not, but we're just going to go wing it. And then while everybody's here, fast forward another week, I'm in another antique shop, just looking around, seeing what I can find. This particular antique shop had a bunch of records in the back. These are consignment type deals where everybody has like a booth and they put random stuff everywhere. This one was kind of overflowing with stuff everywhere. Each booth was kind of a little bit messy, but anyway, go to the back and I see the records, so I was like, oh, there's got to be some stuff there. Crates and crates and crates of 45s. On the walls, there's popular-ish titles, but then crates and crates and crates of records, and then a bunch of loose ones, not even in sleeves. But then I noticed the books, and that's how I kind of pick up on the 78's. And then under the books was crates and crates and crates of loose 78's as well. Nothing had prices on them, but I'm just going through them, just kind of picking through them one at a time kind of thing, looking for titles that I recognize, not necessarily anything that's rare or whatever, because I don't know what that is yet. Again, I'm only 3 weeks into the hobby here. But so I go through them, pick out a bunch that I like, and funny story at checkout when I get to that part there, but I'm used to paying $1 a piece for a loose record. Now, a lot of these did have the paper sleeves in them, and they were in pretty good condition, the ones I was finding. But at checkout, the lady said, I gotta call the lady who owns the booth. So I call her, and she's out on the road somewhere. She picks up the phone. She's like, they're 2 for $5. I was like, 2 for $5, like $2.50 a piece. I was like, I'll do $1 a piece. She's like, no, they're 2 for $5. So I was like, all right, don't worry about it. And I probably had 40 of them hand picked, which maybe it's worth it to you guys. I'm not sure, Some of the titles may be worth that, some of them aren't. There was a few single-sided records in there, which I take it are older ones, the single-sided ones. But anyway, just going off of what I know so far, just a few. There's some Frank Sinatra's in there, some Caruso, I believe, people like to find, just from what I'm gathering anyway. But nothing spectacular in that. But as you know, hidden in the 45s over there, I'm looking around, and through the stack, there's a 45 that doesn't have the center in it. It's got the small pinhole. So now I'm looking at it, I was like, there's something down there. I know what that looks like. So I get through it, and there's like 5 of them on top, and it was a Berliner. And I was like, oh, a Berliner. I said, that's like the other ones I found. I said, I think those are the old ones. So I found one. So I was like, all right, maybe there's some more around here. So there's 45s everywhere hidden underneath them all. I see a box, and it's a small box. It's the box that's, if you looked at the Facebook post so far, you guys know what the box I'm talking about. And right here it is. This box was sitting down, hidden around a bunch of 45s. And I was like, those look pretty thick. I don't think those are 45s. Pulled one out. That's all it took. The rest of them are all Berliners. 43 of them in there. And I was like, I think that's probably a pretty good deal to pick up. I guess I don't want to tell you what I paid for them yet. But it was a good deal, I'll say that. Inside this box is the titles written in here. And I haven't taken this thing apart. At some point, somebody put athletic tape around it. Okay, but apparently this did open up to where you can write titles down there and catalog it. And I haven't gone through to see if those line up with what's in that box, which I probably should, because that might mean there's something else sitting around that place and I need to go back. So I don't want to disclose that part just yet. So anyway, at checkout, the lady did the whole 2 for $5 thing. So I was like, I'll put those back, those 10 inches back, but I'm taking this box. So, and it was 20% off today. So she had handwritten a sign. Everything's 20% off. So I got the box for the price she had listed on it. Now she listed the price. I didn't haggle it. I didn't go in there and try to finagle anything. It was the price she had. She tried to get me $250 a record for the loose stuff, and I was like, I don't want that stuff. But I'll take this little box here. So I took that little box home, and that's what we have now. So without making this too long of a video, today's video, I'm just going to zip through this. This is my first time on YouTube, so just bear with me on that part of it. I'm just going to zip through these titles. I'll give what I can read on it. And then you guys can chime in down in the comments below if you have any more information about it. I do plan on playing them at some point. I don't know what the YouTube copyright stuff is, if they take the video down if you play, I think, more than 15 seconds of a song. So maybe I'll play a little clip of it type thing and let it ride. But or maybe I can post them on Facebook and or do a live video on Facebook or something to that effect, and see if I can get away with doing it that way. Or maybe I'll do a short. I think there's a short that you can post on there anyway. So without further ado, we'll get through this box as quickly as possible. I don't want to make this too terribly long. Looks like we're about 14 minutes into this video so far. Up first, it's called a banjo duet, the Jolly Darkies. Now there's some questionable titles in here. The term darkies and the term coon comes up a few times. You know, this is the late 1800s, so I'm not sure what the context of that is, but I don't know. We'll listen to the records together one day and figure it out. But it is a banjo duet, the Jolly Darkies, Cullen Collins maybe, and it has a handwritten date of 5/98 on it, stamped 491Z as in zebra on the bottom. 491Z as in zebra. The Jolly Darkies. All right, up next. This is Flee as a Bird, not free. I don't know if it's a typo. You know, I don't know if this goes like baseball cards where there's an error card in there. You know how that works out. But They typed flea, Flee, as a bird. Henry Higgins Sousa Band is the signature on it. Played by the Sousa Band. Stamp number 133, Z as in zebra, on the base. There you are. All right. Next up we have, now this one's not typed, it's a handwritten title on here. The other ones were typed. This one says Irish Medley Drum Corps, Washington, D.C. Looks like 1897 maybe, 70177. Or excuse me, 701ZZ is the stamp on the bottom of it. 2 Z's. And there's an X above the gramophone title on top too. A little X up there. I don't know if we can see it. That is an Irish medley by the Drum Corps. I'm not sure which drum corps it was, but apparently there was a drum corps in Washington, D.C. that played an Irish medley at one point. Next up we have Lead Kindly Light. That's not by the light. It's like Lead Kindly Light. Sung by the Hayden Quartet, Haydn. I believe that's how you say it. Hayden Quartet. The signature is a S.M. Dudley manager. So I guess he was the manager of the group. So whoever the quartet was didn't get to sign it, but the manager did. 4265 Z as in zebra is a stamp on the base. All right, quickly going through these. I don't want this video to be crazy long. Just as the Sun Went Down, sung by Mr. George J. Gaskin. Now he signs it Geo J. Gaskin, and I have another one where it doesn't use the name George. He went by Geo on it, but this one actually says Mr. George J. Gaskin on it. Just as the sun went down. There's an A11-1 right by the pinhole there. That's as far as I know about the date on it. Just as the sun went down. There you are. Next up we have C'est au revoir. Looks like something in French maybe. Sung by Mr. A.C. Campbell, and it has New York on it. A.C. Campbell signed it. It looks like 188ZZ, ZZ double zebra. Say A-U-R-E-V-O-I-R. Say revolve. What we got here? The Coon Band Contest, played by Arthur Pryor's Orchestra. Signature by Arthur Pryor. Stamped 0699. B as in Bravo on the base. And then there's a number 2 off to the far side there. The Coon Band Contest. Don't know what was going on with that, but apparently they had a contest. Let's see. Soldier's Farewell, sung by the Hayden Quartet. S.M. Dudley manager, signature again on it. This is stamped 4292. 4292. Whoop. Still good. I've got a rubber pad here underneath all these too, by the way. Calvary, sung by Mr. A.C. Campbell. July 15th, 1898. New York. All stamped on it. The number is 1866 as far as the record number, I believe. And that's stamped off to the side. But this one they wrote Calvary, sung by Mr. A.C. Campbell, July 15th, 1898 in New York. This one is oh boy, Marley, played by the Sousa Band, September 1st, 1898 in New York. 117X. Arthur Pryor signature on this one. Apparently it's a French number, maybe. Maybe some of you guys know more than me. Go ahead and put it in the comments below if you do. And by the way, if you want to listen to some of these or you want me to play them, go ahead and let me know down there, and I'll see what I can do about it. Like I said, we'll figure out the copyright portion of it later on. Now, I have a lot of these Cal Stewart, Uncle Josh records. Apparently, he travels around, Uncle Josh, and Cal Stewart tells you the story about it. This one is Uncle Josh Goes to the Circus, or Uncle Josh at the Circus, excuse me, by Mr. Cal Stewart. Cal Stewart's signature on it. It's 049 with a plus symbol on the bottom of it. I don't know what the significance of the plus symbol is. I don't know if that glare is bad or not. Let's see what I can do with this thing. I don't know if I can make it any better. I might tone it down a little bit. Let's see. The Mother of the Girl I Love. This is a hand-scribed title. It's not typed out. J15-6.5 is right by the pinhole. I'm not sure what that's scribed about. And it also says gray in parentheses. And it has a W.L. Thompson, WCT, looks like WDC maybe. And then MCH 3-98 is inscribed on it as well. 1751Y is the record number on it. There you are. So all these are legit, folks. I'm making the story up. This one is the piano sale. And from what I understand, this is actually Berliner's voice on this as well. He's a part of it. And looks like it has Geo Graham on it as well, his signature. Or Leo, maybe? Geo or Leo. Could be either one. And it says May 26th of 1896 is the date scribed on it. And it has 044W for the record stamp. That's one of my oldest ones I got here so far. And there's that date. The piano sale. Apparently they're at an auction or something to that effect. Mr. Dudley, S.M. Dudley, manager. The Cradle of the Deep, sung by the Haydn Quartet, New York. Stamp number 372Y is in yellow. There you are. This one is Selection from Robin Hood, played by the Sousa Band. Henry Higgins, Sousa Band is the signature on it. 131Z is in zebra is the record stamp on the base down there. A selection from Robin Hood. This one is Enjoy Yourself, a banjo duet. And the title is Enjoy Yourself. It's a handwritten title. Looks like Cullen Collins, maybe. And a 49P is inscribed below that. The record is stamped 489. 489. Cullen Collins, maybe. Enjoy Yourself, a banjo duet. This one is Uncle Josh at Coney Island, made by Mr. Cal Stewart. Record number 048. Looks like this was dated 3/29/99. There's a described date up there, right next to the top. Cal Stewart. There's a U right there as well. Uncle Josh at Coney Island. And we go next. Uncle Josh trip to New York. So I guess he went to New York and Coney Island. This one's probably one of the longer titles here. It's Uncle Uncle Josh's Trip to New York, an original Yankee story by Mr. Cal Stewart, October 17th, 1898. Record stamp 6016. So that's probably one of the longer titles on there. They actually typed all that out for us. Cal Stewart's signature there. Very precise telling that story. And here is another one that is handwritten. It says banjo on it. And the title is a hard one. It's a Tyromazurka. Tyro Mazurka. As far as I can tell. It looks like maybe a Joe Cullen signature on the base. 474Z as in zebra. Chime in if you know a little bit more about that guy. Trying to be quick here. Don't want to make this terribly long, sorry. This one is Hide and Seek, an original poem by Mr. Fred Emerson Brooks, October 17th, 1898. Record stamp 6018. And Fred Emerson Brooks' signature on it. Telling us a poem. Hide and Seek. And next we have the Chief Trumpeter. Maybe Elvis Cassie? That's what it appears. Bugle calls by the Chief Trumpeter Cassie of Roosevelt's Rough Riders. It has a stamp number 2 off to the left there. On the bottom, it's 3439, Z as in zebra. And then under that, it looks like it's stamped 34 as well. So Roosevelt's Rough Riders bugle caller guy there. Looks like made a recording for us. Bugle calls by the Chief Trumpeter, Mr. Cassie. Next up, we got us In Old Madrid, a banjo solo by Mr. Vessl Osman. Record number 094. This has a date scribed on it, 4/24/99 also. And it has an F off to the right side of it. These are in decent shape. They got decent grooves on them. They're not all flat and worn out. No cracks. There's a few scratches, as to be expected for something 120 some odd years old, whatever these are. What do we got here? Henry Higgins Sousa Band signature at a Georgia camp meeting played by Sousa Band. Record number 136, Z as in zebra. Z as in zebra. Next we have My Little Georgia Rose. My Little Georgia Rose by Harry McDonough. 0662 with an I below it. Maybe McDonough, Georgia, named after that fellow, by chance? Sang us a song about his little Georgia Rose. Up next, we have The Tack, sung by the Hayden Quartet, signed by the manager again, S.M. Dudley, manager. 4293 is stamped on the base. The Tack. We got 30 minutes into this thing. I'll speed it up, folks. Sorry to keep it for so long. What do we got here? Melba Waltz by Miss M-I-S-S Helen Jenenge, Jenynge, Jenynge, 3660 with an X for the record number on the bottom. Melba Waltz. Gwine, not going. Gwine, Gwine, back to Arkansas. Arkansas spelled wrong also. Arkansaw. I don't know if it's slang or if that's just how they did it back then. I don't know. Mr. George. Now this one is Geo Gaskin. It didn't say George. And his signature is a G-O-J Gaskin. So maybe he went by Geo. Has an A11 I right next to the pinhole there. And record number 053 on the base. 53. Mr. Geo J. Gaskin. Not George on this one. The other one had his name spelled out George. Next up, we've got The Owl and the Pussycat, sung by Hayden Quartet. 4284, Z is in Zebra. And the signature was by the manager once again, Mr. S.M. Dudley, manager. He made sure he told everybody he was the manager. Guess the Hayden Quartet wasn't allowed to sign anything. So you find a Hayden Quartet signature, maybe worth some money. I don't know. This one is Green Fields of Virginia, sung by Mr. A.C. Campbell. Mr. A.C. Campbell signed it, and it has a date inscribed on it as 3/22/99 also. And 020 is the record number on the base. There's the date, 3/22/99. Mr. A.C. Campbell singing The Green Fields of Virginia. Which I got to go to Virginia. A little auction going on there, if y'all ain't aware of it. Up next, now this one is not a Burliner. This one is a Victor Rector. It's a 7-inch Victor. It has A343 stamped, or excuse me, inscribed on top. There was inscription on it on the bottom, and then they put a label over the top of the inscription, so you can kind of see through it as the label, I guess, shrunk down, pressed on it. It is a waltz, The Blue Danube, played by the Sousa Band, A343. So it was inscribed, and then the label was also put on top of the inscription. You can see the inscription below it too as well. But this one is not a Burliner, so I have 42 Burliners and one of these in this box. It is a Victor 7-inch. And you look closely, it was inscribed, but then they put a label on it as well. So maybe it was a Burliner and then Victor restamped it. I don't know. There is a 150-1 on the back. So chime in if you know something about that. Sing Again That Sweet Refrain, sung by Mr. A.C. Campbell. September 15th, 1898 in New York. And this is record number 1899. This one looks like the patent stuff kind of wore off on it. The patent looks a little different than the other ones. The same? Of course, that's not a gramophone. Let's see if I can compare it here. No, it's the same. It's just wore out, I guess. Yeah, they appear to be the same. So sing again that sweet refrain, sung by Mr. A.C. Campbell, September 15th, 1898, in New York. And the stamp is record number 1899 off to the side over there. But this one has a date right there in the letters New York as far as the city goes. But you can see the gramophone, and then it looked like it skipped everything. It was just really light, and then the rest of the patent stuff's down there at the bottom. That's why it looked a little different. This is another handwritten title. It says Orchestra Down Old Tampa Bay. OLE Tampa Bay. And something in parentheses. I don't know if that says Florida on it. Kind of looks like Florida. Not really sure. But it says Down Old Tampa Bay on it. And record number 7001. All scribed on there, no typing on this one. See that in parentheses right there. Down Old Tampa Bay, and then it looks like maybe Florida in parentheses. 7001. I don't think there was another Tampa Bay at the time, but they were just being precise, apparently. This one is The Serenade, a selection from The Serenade by Victor Herbert's 22nd Regiment Band. This is signed by Victor Herbert. Record number 8021. The 22nd Regiment Band. The Serenade, a selection from The Serenade. So maybe that was a musical or a play or something to that effect, a record at the time, and they pulled one of the songs out and had the 22nd Regiment Band play it. Uncle Josh Weathersby, we got Josh's last name now. This one actually says his last name on it. In a Department Store by Mr. Cal Stewart, New York, June 11th, 1898. Record number 6007. Cal Stewart signature on it. So Mr. Josh is Weathersby. For all you guys out there, old Uncle Josh has a last name. And he went to the department store. Recorded in New York on June 11th of 1898. And we got Just in the Same Old Way, sung by Mr. A.C. Campbell, July 15th, 1898. This is record number 1868. Just double checking that one consecutive there. That'd be pretty cool. But it wasn't. Up next we got maybe a Spanish number here. Miss Dorothy Hoyle, MISS Dorothy Hoyle, HOYLE of the Sousa Band. Apparently she wasn't married. La Cinquantaine, a violin solo by Miss Dorothy Hoyle. Record number 4808, Z as in zebra. Dorothy Hoyle. Up next we got The Handicap March by Mr. V.E.S.L. Osmond, a banjo solo. Record number 087, The Handicap March. This is another handwritten title. Banjo is scribed on it. and it says Mazurka Original, Mazurka Original. Looks like Joe Cullen is the signature on the base of it there, with a 455 Z as in zebra record number stamped on it. Mm-mm-mm. 40 minutes. I'm speeding up, folks. Here we go. Ingersoll at the Tomb of Napoleon. Recitation by Mr. W.F. Hooley, Hooley. And W.F. Hooley is the signature on it, by the way. September 21st, 1898. Record number 6013 on the left-hand side there. So apparently it's some sort of speech that was given at the Tomb of Napoleon, maybe? Chime in if you know. What do we got here? Arthur Pryor, Because, by the members of the Sousa Band. 6699. Record number 0183. And the title is Because. Signed by Arthur Pryor. 6699. Next, My Old Kentucky Home, played by the Sousa Band. Looks like Henry Higgins, Sousa Band is the signature on it. Maybe he's the conductor of the Sousa Band. That's what I'm guessing. Record number 129, Z as in zebra. There you are. Up next we have The Lost Chord, cornet solo by Mr. Henry Higgins of the Sousa Band. So Mr. Higgins actually got on the cornet, maybe? That's what it appears. He signed it, Mr. Higgins of the Sousa Band. So maybe he's not the conductor. Maybe he diddles on the side with a cornet. Who knows? Record number 3401, Y as in yellow. I guess the letter designation is maybe the take. They didn't get it in the first try, so they used letter designations. Is that what I'm guessing? I don't know. And last but not least, My Gal is a High-Born Lady. And tough to make out the signature there. This is all scribed, it's not typed out. Win L. Thompson, maybe? W-I-N-L Thompson. And this looks like a 1896 date stamped on it, scribed on it. Record number is 1606W, if that helps out. And it has a 5-15-6.5 inscribed off to the right side of the pinhole there. And that's My Gal is a High-Born Lady. 1606W. So 3 weeks into the game, and that's my score so far. Apparently, I'm doing pretty well, according to some folks on there. I guess it's kind of rare to find these, and I just happened to find a stash all at the same place, out in the wild, as they say, just sitting in the bottom of a bunch of 45s, hanging out. So get out there and do some hunting. That's all I could say. They're out there. I've had several inquiries about buying this already overnight. My inbox is blown up. At the moment, I'm not planning on getting rid of them. I'd like to catalog them, record them into my computer. Once I figure out the logistics of hooking that up, I've got a Stanton T92 USB that I can plug into the computer. And I just got my Audio Technica 78 cartridge in today with a shell. So I'm able to play them without doing significant damage to them. I don't want to spin them too many times for, I guess, obvious reasons. None of these are broke. There's a few scratches on them, but the grooves on them are very, very good. I think they're very deep, so I believe they're going to put out some sound for us. Let me know in the comments what you want to do. Maybe I can put together a little DJ session, or maybe just do like 1 or 2 or 3 a week and put them out. Maybe like a Wednesday night, Friday night kind of jam session. We'll throw a record on and let it ride. Like I said, I got to figure out the copyright stuff with YouTube and see how that goes. But yeah, that's my collection so far, guys. I do have about 500 more 78s that I haven't even gone through yet. I went down to vacation in Destin, Florida area. Went to an old record store, I found a guy on Marketplace, excuse me. I did find some stuff at a record store in a place called Mary Esther, Florida. Real small old town in old Florida down there. But there was a fellow on Marketplace that had 500 of them from a jukebox dealer, apparently. So I haven't gone through all those titles yet, but they were in multiple crates. And then I've got a bunch of books as well of a 12-inch, single-sided 12-inch, a bunch of those. And I got to sort through them. Like I said, I don't know really what I'm looking for yet. Just learning on the fly and see what I come up with. But appreciate y'all tuning in. This is my first try at the YouTube, so I'm sure it was horrible. But it'll probably get better from here. I do have a brand new shop out in outside that I just built. I have a second floor in it, and that's going to be dedicated to the record players. And I don't know if I explained what I do as I do Bluetooth speaker stuff, but I've been getting the stand-up crank record players and refurbishing them as well. I do have some bids in on a few things in an auction, so I'm hoping to get a little more inventory as far as that goes. So there's not a lot to them, but I've taken them apart and put them all back together with a Sonora and with a Brunswick. I hope to get a few Victrolas here pretty soon so I can learn those. I think they're all pretty close to the same general idea, a spring wound motor with some gearing, and make sure all that stuff's tight and greased up and oiled up. And the spring motors are good, and rebuilding the reproducers and make sure the tone arms are good. Like I said, I do have a 3D printer, so I'm looking at doing 3D printed replication parts if I have to, rebuild a crusty tone arm or something to that effect. And I could play with different types of materials. There is a carbon fiber material that you can print with, so that may be a good option as far as getting something to work again if there's no available parts for it. At that auction, that stuff was pretty rough. I did go up there a week ago in Virginia and looked at some stuff. I did win some auctions. I do old vintage speakers as well and old vintage stereos. I got some Empire Grenadier in-table type speakers with the imported marble from Portugal on top. So I got 2 sets of those, a 7500 and a 6000 series. If anybody's interested in that stuff. Some Sansui speakers, some Infinity speakers, Serwin Vegas, that kind of stuff. The loud rock and roll type big 15-inch woofers. These Empire Grenadiers, they got 15-inch down firing woofers, and it's an end table if you've never seen them before. They're pretty neat looking. So yeah, that's what I'm into. Just getting in, and I do have my business license, and I opened up an LLC to make this all legit. So I'm not just flying by the seat of my pants here. Just learning as I go with this this new record collection. So bear with me, and happy hunting. If you guys find something you want to share with us, go ahead and post it down in the comments, or if I've got something I'd like to put out there, I'll post more videos as we go along. And if there's something that you see here that tweaks your fancy, let me know in the comments, and I'll see what I can do. Like, share, and subscribe, I guess is what everybody says on these things. So, like I said, this is my first video, almost an hour long. I'll try to keep them short and sweet from here on out, but that's my introduction to my new found record collection. 42 Berliners, one Victor 7-inch, one Zonophone 7-inch, and one Columbia 7-inch so far in this setup. So I think I'm doing pretty well, only 3 weeks into it, but yeah, you got to get out there to find them. You can't do it from the chair here. You just get to watch guys like me do it. So I'm sure you guys are well more versed in this stuff than me. So if you want to educate me on something, go ahead. I don't plan on playing these on any of the Victrolas or the Brunswick or the Snoras. Apparently you can get some softer needles or that effect, but I don't want to tear these things up. So that's why I went ahead and got that Stanton player for us and the 78 cartridge, so I can make sure I don't do any significant damage to try to listen to these or try to record them. But everything is for sale. I don't plan on hoarding these things. If you guys are big collectors, jump in on my Facebook there, and we'll go from there. All right, appreciate you tuning in. And until next time, take it easy.